Been about 6 months-ish, and he is finally halfway to the goal.
And I get it. I get both sides.
In the late 90s, a very popular Japanese game show tortured a man for a year and broadcast it every Sunday night. This isn't like reality TV where it's all fake and scripted, not to ruin Christmas for all the believers out there. This was legitimately torturing another human being for the sake of entertainment. And it was extremely popular, averaging 17 million viewers every Sunday night that they'd play the clip.
Oh yeah, did I mention that this was so popular it basically outstripped the most watched episode of Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad? Like, it genuinely is, what the fuck is wrong? I get it, the interest of like the interest of looking at like an animal in a cage is like holy shit, but like Jesus Christ, no one said stop. Oh, be aware that there will be nudity. Twitch, if you see this, I hope that Charlie's I'm hoping his ability and the video doesn't get me caught out. Should be fine. It is censored. You may see some ass, but hopefully not. I don't go outside much, only if I need to, but still, that would be torture for me. I need a human interaction, but then again, given the fact that I would have Twitch chat to interact with, I feel like I would be fine.
That's absolutely massive, even by today's standards. It's more viewers than...
Oh no, Charlie does care. Charlie made this video not only just for himself and his self-driven interest, it is genuinely, he also probably was aware that this is going to get watched on stream. We need to do this.
The last 4 years of the NBA Finals and the World Series, and obviously more than most television shows get. For reference, The Boys season premiere got around 8 million viewers, and according to YouTuber Atrocity Guide, who also covered this story, the most viewed episode of Game of Thrones got around 16 million viewers, so it even beats that. Just an absolutely massive success, but it doesn't stop there.
Do you see how big that show was in Japan? I'm guessing, actually, considering the time, Japan may have had a high amount of TVs, and TV shows were just popular because, you know, work and interesting things.
The producers knew there was still a little milk left in those teats and they wanted to suckle. So they actually turned it from just a weekly broadcast into a full-blown live stream where you could log on online and watch him suffer in real time. So whenever you were just feeling particularly quirky, you could hop in there and watch a man be miserably tortured for the better part of a year. Doesn't that sound like fun? What a great way of starting the day. A nice bowl of cereal and milk for breakfast and watching a man's sanity slowly deteriorate as he dances around naked in absolute agony.
Oh yeah, did I mention that he was naked?
Wonderful. This is the story of Nasubi. As I briefly mentioned, another YouTube channel named Atrocity Guide made a great video on this topic, but I wanted to go even deeper. So we, Caleb, Chelsea, and I really did a fucking thorough deep dive, spreading the foul cheeks of this situation wide open, going through live streams, all of the broadcast clips, in order to really get a handle on just how vile this whole thing was. So let's begin.
Yeah, asses got people banned in the past. You need to remember, anything that can be perceived as something sexual can actually get you hit.
In 1998, a popular Japanese game show named Susanoo Dimpa Shonen held a raffle to find their next contestant for an upcoming...
Japanese TV is actually really awkward to watch. I'm not saying it's bad because of like any other reason other than like, I'm not saying it's bad because, oh, it's foreign language, ha ha ha, racist and shit. It's weird because they have this tendency to start a show to explain stuff. It's the issue with anime and excessive exposition. Japanese TV shows just genuinely have that riddled all over it. Like, I can't be the only one that basically looks at a Japanese TV show and thinks, ha, you explaining the plot of what's happening for the 15th time, even though I have eyes, is clearly interesting. I'm like, Why pause? You don't need to pause, just carry it on.
Show they were working on called A Life of Prizes. Nasubi ended up winning the lottery and was ecstatic. He believed this was going to be a big break for him since he was also an up-and-coming comedian, and he was escorted to...
Look how happy he was. He got, like, I won the lottery. Let's go. I'm like, yay.
A small apartment where he was then instructed to take off all of his clothes in order to participate in the game.
And this
the
is
challenge was he would have to survive in this apartment on nothing but his winnings from sweepstakes. They only provided him with water, and he was told that he would not be allowed to leave or communicate with the outside world or have any access to anything that he didn't directly earn through magazine sweepstakes. He was told that he'd need to win 1 million yen, which at the time, 1998, was right around 8,000 US dollars, through only mail-in magazine sweep.
Your cake broke? I'm so sorry, Gordon. I'm hoping it still tastes good at least. Oh, that is not a good freeze frame for Charlie. Charlie, I'm very sorry. It was just paused at the wrong moment.
Sweepstakes in order to complete the challenge and be released from the room. And yes, this does include food. They didn't provide him with any food. The only food he'd have access to is the food that he earns through mail-in sweepstakes. It just feels like there were better odds of a bird carrying $10,000 in its mouth crashing through the apartment window than actually earning 10 grand through mail-in.
I am not stinky or stinky. Okay, but this is actually fucked up. It is so bad.
Sweepstakes.
I'm annoyed. We're 3 minutes into a 40-minute video. How fucked up do you think this is? Like, genuinely. You can't even see the bar yet. This is how bad it is. Look, that's how far into the video we are. We're not even anywhere near the end. We're still on the introduction.
This shit is like something you would actually hear of, like, fucked up prison guards at Guantanamo Bay doing as, like, a joke or something. It's so cruel and brutally difficult. But Nasubi...
Bruh. But yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this cake. Eat it! Do you know what you do? You crumble it. What you do is you break it up, you get like custard and like some cream, and then you just mix it all into like this thing, and you put them in a little bowl, and then boom, you've got like a little trifle thing. There you go, you saved it.
He did actually pull it off. It took Nasubi 335 days total to finally make enough money to be released from it.
335
This is actually only the tip of the iceberg here,
fuck?
but I just want to give you the story in a nutshell. And I also want to explain the name Nasubi, because that's not actually the contestant's real name. His actual name is Tomoaki.
Oh yeah, Nasubi in Japanese means eggplant. And by the way, the origins of an eggplant for a dick in like text applications comes from this. It most likely comes from this. It's probably this origin. That this is probably where it came from.
Hamatsu. The name Nasubi actually means eggplant. And he got this because the producers used an eggplant to censor his genitals for the broadcast. And they also said that his head resembled the shape of an eggplant. The whole point of the Susanoo Denpa Shonen broadcast here was to laugh at Nasubi. And people were. 17 million people having an old hoot and a holler, real side-splitting comedy, watching a man be legitimately tortured.
I mean, in the UK and the US, we do have a show called Big Brother. I guess it's the same, except though they do actually get interactions. Can you imagine Big Brother, but they're actually in there on their own? That would be fucking interesting. Oh wait, no, that is a thing. It's called The Circle. Yeah, that's actually a thing. What the fuck?
Nasubi believed that he was being recorded and that the clips were going to be re-edited and broadcast for TV. So he would come in and like update people on what he's doing. Like, I just won this can of cat food. I just won this bicycle. And then he'd like dance around and try and make it entertaining. But he never knew that he was being live streamed the whole time. He was under the impression...
Well, that's the point. Back when this was a thing, it was like, oh, live streaming, that's not a real thing. Live streaming. What the fuck is a live stream? Like, it's like TV Live. Like, not even TV Live was a very common thing then.
And that it was just going to be moments from the challenge. Not that every excruciating second of this challenge was being broadcast to all of Japan. Extremely fucked situation. And this is just the bare outline of it. What I want to do for this video is actually go through a lot of clips.
What was actually the population in Japan back in the late 90s? It had to be quite big. Let's have a quick Google. Population of Japan in the late 90s. The population in Japan. So 10% of the entire population of Japan. Wait. Yeah, 10% of the population watched this show. 10 fucking percent of an entire fucking country. What the fuck? That's 10% yield of the entire fucking country watching a show of a man being tortured.
In moments from this live stream and the broadcast, as well as just everything surrounding it, because it is so baffling. It is bizarre that this
how
actually
is this allowed?
happened. I remember Vsauce did a video on what happens to the mind when you're cut off from stimulation in the outside world for an extended period of time. And unsurprisingly, it is so psychologically damaging to be completely alone and isolated like Nasubi was. And Vsauce only did like a few days.
I was just thinking I could probably do something the same, but then again, it also says lacking stimulation, so you would need a completely blank space. I feel like I would just end up masturbating constantly. I just genuinely feel like that's what I would end up doing. I'm like, oh, you're in pitch black? Okay, well, just fap constantly. Fap and just sleep. There you go. 2 things you can do endlessly for very long periods of time. Whack it and sleep. There you go.
Nasubi did over a year, 15 months total.
Nato.
書いていると
はい。
誰かが来た、
はい。
宅急便、
やった来た第1号
気分フードケミファさんのファイバーゼリー12個入りでございます。
He won fiber jelly, let's go! But look how happy he is, even on the shit quality of the video. Look how happy he is! Look at that big grin! Look at the big grin! He's so happy!
いただきます。
This was Nasubi's first big win, a fat dubski. He was able to secure 12 pots of fiber jelly. I don't know what the fuck fiber jelly is. I've never heard of it in my life. That sounds like a made-up substance in the movie Snowpiercer, but it was huge for Nasubi because it's his first bit of food since this started, so he was extremely hungry and was able to get some nutrients. This wasn't the first thing he applied for, though. The first sweepstakes he was entering were for clothing items.
Well, yeah, that's what you kind of want to do. That's kind of what you would want. But then again, I would literally just... if I'm honest, I would legitimately... The first thing I would do is take apart the entire magazine, throw away the shit in there, which is... Yeah, I just go, I'm gonna apply for everything in every magazine. I don't give a 2 shits. The goal is to move the fuck out. Just get it done quick.
He wanted to cover up, obviously, because being naked is going to be cold, uncomfortable, especially since it's being filmed. So he had applied for an apron first, but he didn't win.
やった!また何か当たったんだ。
はい。
お名前出してもらいたいと思いまして。
あ、はい、わかりました。はい。
当選か、
まずラーメン。
え、
全部で1700円になります。すいません、間違えました。
Obviously, since Nasubi was trapped in isolation, cut off from the rest of the world, he cherished every single knock at that door. It was the only bit of human interaction he gets. So he'd get excited, and of course he's expecting to win something, since why else would someone be knocking at the door? So he gets really hyped up, like, hey, finally something came that's going to help me get closer to completing this challenge, or maybe it's food and I'm starving. But that wasn't always the case. Like in these 2 clips here, sometimes it was just fucking cruel, where a postman knocked on his door just to let him know that he needs to put his name on the mailbox or some shit, and then also someone put the wrong address for a ramen delivery, so he couldn't even have the ramen after smelling it. Like, it was just really sad to see.
米か、
でんでねー。
米だ。
でんでねー。
Nasubi.
Be happy! Twitch, don't ban me!
Finally, it seems fortune's looking
Twitch,
up
don't
for
ban
Nasubi here.
me!
He's able to secure 5 kilograms of rice. But then things get heartbreaking when he realizes he has no way of cooking the rice, because he'd need to win a pot from a sweepstakes in order to use it. So he just has 5 kilograms of rice that he can't cook. It's fucking terrible.
It's disgusting.
You know, like it's a treasure that you can't have. So he gets desperate and he starts resorting to eating the rice raw.
ママグロをかじる。
お願いします。おかゆにでもちゃんとなってください。申し訳ないですけどね。ちょっとこれは失敗じゃないですか。ちょっと待って。ちょっと待ってよこれ。
Why is that so loud?
実験成功。
見て。
Unable to continue eating the rice raw, Nasubi knew he needed to find some way to cook it, so he went full fucking Jimmy Neutron here. He hatched an idea to put the rice into one of the jelly fiber containers, and he put hot water in it, left it out overnight, hoping to make it somewhat
big brain
cooked.
move.
As you can see in the clip, he said,
I would probably not have figured that out for at least 3-4 months. Actually, to be honest, the way that I would have done it is I would have just soaked the rice in water. Like gone, hey, we're just gonna fill this thing up with rice, soak it with water, and hope for the best. Does rice need heat to cook, or can it just be wet? Does it just be wet? Twitch is watching Katie.
Even if it's gruel, just make it into something. It didn't work at all. So he came up with another plan to put it in the fiber jelly container, put it in the hot water, and set it next to the gas burner. So that way it would kind of cook it by proxy. And this worked. It was able to cook the rice, and now he had...
Well, my theory is that if you let it soak long enough, it would soften up, making it basically just really shitty rice. Like, think rice pudding. It'd basically be just rice pudding without the pudding part. Am I wrong? I'm not good at cooking, okay? I can barely... Yeah, I'm not good at cooking. I don't really cook. I think me and my dad are actually planning on making onigiri this weekend. That'll be fun. I might actually... No, I'm having pot noodle. Like porridge. Yeah, like porridge.
An efficient way of actually eating that rice that he won.
自転車に乗ってご飯が食える。やばい。やな僕は。
Gotta get through this.
Slowly
Ding
but
ding.
surely, Nasubi was chipping away at that million yen goal, winning.
You can leave rice in 35 minutes and it should be good to eat. Is that without it being heated water? Or is that okay if it's cold? Because if... Sorry, I just realized... Charlie, I'm sorry. I keep pausing your video on weird fucking frames.
More and more pride.
He is genuinely a handsome fella. Charlie is genuinely a handsome dude. He usually doesn't look like a grotesque being. It's just the pause.
Such as a bicycle, which on the surface seems pretty useless since he couldn't take it outside, but he turned it into a stationary bike, and I'm sure that was like a good way of stimulating him. Because
baby!
What the fuck else are you gonna do? So he'd eat his watery rice while pedaling on the bicycle. And he started gathering more and more winnings. It started to look like my fucking dorm room from college, just a bicycle and all kinds of miscellaneous shit all over the place.
来ましたね、見事に。いやいや、やってみるもんですね。ほら。
お米の炊き方98年3月版ニューバージョンです。
He made rice! He upgraded! He evolved!
ちゃってるよ、これ。もう。
He also upgraded his whole cooking operation by using a pin and a can of sake. He was able to create a pretty efficient cooking apparatus, so he was able to make rice more efficiently. He was even able to cook spaghetti now. So he was really like climbing up the tech tree here by just...
He evolved. He went from stone to bronze age. He will outgrow us all.
Just being an absolute fucking genius. And it's also worth noting, some of the more useless things he won, like the bicycle, wasn't entirely worthless because that helped increase the value of his winnings, bringing him closer to that million yen mark. So even if he couldn't get a ton of usage.
Oh my god, there's a huge moth in my room. Go away. Go away, go away, go away, go away. I hate moths. Why are you in here? Okay, it's gone. He's evolving. You see my approach of get a magazine, just apply for everything. It just helps you get closer to winning.
Out of it directly, just having it in the room was beneficial because it gets him closer to being done with the challenge.
瞬間が訪れようとしている。しかし、
でもちょっと厳しいね。こんな
小さすぎた。
こんな感じになっちゃうね、ちょっとね。
Now, it's been about 2 months in this clip here, and according to Atrocity Guide, Nasubi submitted 5,748 sweepstakes entries in the first month. So you can imagine that he's right around that 11,000, 12,000.
Moths are friendly. No, moths are not friendly. They eat clothes. Moths eat house. They eat clothes and cloth. They basically eat my handful of clothes. Moths are cute. They're fucking annoying. They fly in your face. They get in front of my phone when I'm trying to sleep or watch shit on watch porn. Yeah, they just they get in the way. They're frustrating. Mothra is cool, but moths aren't.
1,000 sweepstake entry ballpark, and he is just now winning his first article of
Werewolf God, welcome to the stream. How you doing?
Clothing, which are used panties from someone named Hitomi-chan.
If I swear, do not get ideas, chat. Don't get ideas. Do not dare get idea. I will not sell you my underwear.
I want to say I had no idea the used panty market spanned this far back in time. This is 1998. I thought soiled panties, used socks, and bath water were things women started selling within the last decade to take advantage of internet sales. I had no idea that this was a popular market.
Okay, I might be lying. That might be something exclusive on my OnlyFans.
All the way back into the 90s. But anyway, Nasubi wins these panties. It's his only article of clothing he's won so far, but they don't fit, unfortunately.
Well, because he's a dude, and Japanese women are tiny as fuck.
前つけてあげないとね、かわいそうだね。そうだ。ナスビのお友達でビーナス。
ナスビ、ビーナス連れて初めてのお散歩。
Binasu! He named his fucking weird thing Binasu.
I found this one to be extraordinarily sad, so still...
I think it's a mix of sad and wholesome. It's very wholesome because he has a little buddy and he called it Bisanu, and it's like, look, hands. He's got a little thing and he called it Bisanu, and it's a buddy. It's his Wilson! Do not take his Wilson away from him! Don't take his Wilson away from him! Binasu is precious, and they probably turned it into merch and made fucking millions off of it.
Still around 2 months now. He's had no contact with any human beings aside from the delivery guy just dropping off his winnings. He wins a stuffed seal which he names Binasu and takes him for a walk. It's his only source of companionship. That shit just breaks my heart to see. I'm not gonna lie.
貧乏芸人の日常生活においてステーキの4文字なんて想像だにしなかった。
肉をボールペン。
I'm happy. Here's the thing. Okay, do you want to know the bit which I'm getting from this? I'm getting so much joy from him being happy. But I understand that the man is being fucking tortured in this. He's so happy over the smallest things. This shit makes you appreciate stuff.
ペンに刺して炙り始めた。5分後。
美味しそう。
ナスビにとって最高級の食べ物、ステーキを今まさに食べようとする瞬間。
This is his first time winning a direct source of protein. Up until this point, his diet was mainly just the rice
People
and
happy
spaghetti.
indeed.
So he'd be getting trace amounts of protein, but never something like steak. His macros had to be so fucked from this, but he finally gets steak, and he cooks it by using a ballpoint pin to cook it over the direct flame, and he gets to eat it and is super happy about it. I'd also like to highlight something in that note he wrote. He said, in the life of a poor comedian, he's only used the word steak in his imagination. I think this is big because prior to this challenge, Nasubi wasn't a popular comedian in Japan. he wasn't well off or anything like that. He this was his big break, which is why he was so excited to be part of this show. And then he gets tortured. It's so fucking cruel. Like, you can't help but feel absolutely horrible for this guy.
当たった。
電車で
さらに。
専用コントローラー
Look how happy!
店主はな
He is so happy over the smallest things. I love it. It's like so heartwarming, but it's so upsetting at the same time.
車掌はヴィーナスってな風に
かな。
加熱しないで食べるつもりだ。
うん。
Oh.
全然いける。美味しい美味しい。うん。すべてヴィーナス君のおかげだ。
Venus!
He wins a PlayStation game as well as a special controller for it, but he doesn't have a PlayStation or a TV to play it on. He then also wins raw pork and raw crab and eats it raw because he didn't really have an efficient way of cooking those. And you can see that he talks a lot to the stuffed seal. This is very much like a Castaway.
Well, I mean, wouldn't you? You find some form of companionship where you feel like you actually have a bit of a connection with it. You want to know what my most oldest thing in my room is? I have a plush toy from when I was 2 months old sitting on my shelf, and that thing is going to probably be buried with me or cremated with me when I die. It is my most treasured possession, and I do feel like I have a genuine connection to it. I think in that situation, you're in a room blank, nothing in it. Yeah, you won that companionship.
Situation with Wilson. When you're deprived of human contact for as long as Nasubi has been, you start to try and find ways of being social. Humans are social creatures by nature, which is why it's so torturous to be deprived of that. It's fucking brutal. It's been right around 3 months by this point, and he is not even halfway done to the 1,000,000 yen goal.
A vacuum cleaner.
3ヶ月ぶりの掃
Look
除
how
スタンプ。
happy he is. Look at the face of joy. A TV. Let's go.
1
Let's go.
アップするよこれで。
そのものとは。
歯ブラシと歯ブラ
Toothpaste!
シのセットです。
Look at that face. Look how much joy he has. He is so happy.
歯ブラシと
He is so happy. He's just got toothpaste and a toothbrush. I'm so happy for Nasubi right now. Phil, you came back to us watching a video on the guy who's probably the most tortured streamer ever. The first streamer and the most tortured streamer. You guys think you torture me? This guy, different level. People happy, man poggers. Look at how happy he is. He is so fucking happy. I love it.
歯磨きのセットです。
He's able to win a vacuum cleaner, which enables him to clean the room for the first time in 3 months, and then wins a TV, which would have been great because he'd finally have some source of entertainment, but unfortunately, since there was no antenna, it was useless because it would only play static, and he still didn't have a PlayStation that, like, play the PlayStation.
I have a 5 or 6 foot long plush shark I've had since I was 1 year old, and will probably be buried with me as well. We all have one of those little things that we keep with us, and it's the reason why is because it's a form of safe companionship. My sister, despite the fact she would never admit it, she has one of those. My sister has one. My mother has one. My dad has a fucking huge panda bear. I'm not, I like, genuinely, that panda bear is so near and dear to my dad's life. It is legit. I remember growing up and cuddling that thing. But yeah, it's so, we all have that form of, that thing of, like, companionship that we're attached to. There's no way around it. Because it's unfavorable love. Is unfavorable the right word? It's basically one-sided love, and you just genuinely feel like you get it back, despite the fact it being I can't speak. An object. That's the word I'm looking for. Always cherish the things you love. Exactly. It's the reason why I cherish and love you guys so much. I have a rabbit bun. You have a bun? Phil, don't laugh at me because I can't speak.
Game that he won, so the TV was just a source of fucking white noise, I suppose. And then he finally gets something really, really useful, which is a toothbrush and toothpaste, which lets him brush his teeth for the first time in 3 months.
I'm manually turning this up and down, by the way.
This is one component that I always see left out for all of the publications or videos
Let's
that
go!
talk about the horror of the Nasubi story. They actually had a doctor come in and check up on him. The staff wanted to make sure that he wasn't like on the brink of death or that he hadn't contracted any like serious disease or anything. So they had a doctor come in, take his vitals, also did like a blood and urine test, or so they claim, and then gave him a clean bill of health. Now, assuming that that's all legitimate and not just, theatrics for the television program, I would still say this doesn't take into account the actual torture this man is enduring. Like, even if his vitals are okay, he doesn't have a disease or any, like, big alarming health concerns. This is a man that has been deprived of sunlight, socialization, entertainment, and just basic human needs for 3 months by this point. So even if...
Here's the thing. And this is the bit which I'm picking up on this. I see it from an entertainment standpoint. Loads of people in the world genuinely, they don't appreciate their stuff. They don't appreciate what they have. And they genuinely do not know what it is to have nothing. The joy they get from watching Nasubi do this is probably looking at how happy he is over the small things and how overwhelmingly ecstatic he is. The genuine fact that he gets some steaks and they are like the most joy he seems to get. He gets a plush animal and it turns into his most treasured companion. He gets fucking toothpaste. And it's like the most ecstatic feeling he has. He has the ability, he has a vacuum cleaner to fucking clean it, and he fucking does it. Do you think, if you were to go out and buy yourself a vacuum cleaner, you'd be happy you'd be happy that you got yourself a vacuum cleaner. You wouldn't be as happy as Nasubi getting a fucking vacuum cleaner, though, will you? I see the torture, and I see the joy he can bring from this experiment. Like, I genuinely see it from both sides of the fence, and I get it. I get both sides, and it's hard for me to justify it. I personally feel like they should have given him some clothes and some cooking equipment and started him off with a fuckload of rice and just been like, hey, we're starting you off with some basic things. If you ever get to the point where we feel like you're under eating, we will step in. But yeah, genuinely, it is genuinely, I feel like they should have given him a bit more. But I understand why they did it the way they did, if that makes sense.
All of the blood work and all of that is within normal limits. This is a man who is still very much not okay. And to try and make it seem...
So basically experiment to torture people. No, this was literally, this was just an idea for a show where they would, it would technically be classified as torture. But there is genuinely, at this point in time, there is nothing holding Nasubi back from walking to the door, open it, and then walking out. There is nothing stopping him from just leaving at any point. He is technically in there of his own accord. Technically. Because he's just in a basic apartment complex. He's doing nothing special. Unless he's actually on a set, which I doubt. But yeah, it just genuinely seems that he's capable of leaving at any point if he wanted to.
Seem like, no, everything's great, Nasubi's happy, and this is a totally fine by the books thing. Look, the doctor even says so. Is even more scummy and shitty.
It is.
嫌なことに気づいてしまった。命の源お米が米袋の底に溜まってる程度になってし
No,
ま
you
って
reached the
る。
bottom of the rice.
ついに今日で最後か。これが最後のお米です。
No.
はい、ドッグフード
No.
です。
Oh.
すると
まずい。
Oh he's eating dog food.
フードでーす
That is the face of a man in pain.
Somehow, the story keeps getting more tragic. The rice that he won on the 20th day was finally running out, and he was unable to win any more during this time, so he resorted to eating dog food. And dog food became the primary thing that he was eating. It was like his main diet. So he was surviving off dog food. And another thing that I've seen brought up a few times that I also question is the legitimacy of like what shows up, because it would have been very easy for producers to intercept things that Nasubi had won if they were too helpful. Like, I find it very odd that the only thing Nasubi won in terms of clothing throughout all 15 months was a pair of panties. That seems so unrealistic. I really think there may have been foul play, and this is just a conspiracy, where the producers intercepted
finally got a time on my delivery.
To keep him naked for the sake of the...
Sorry, I just got an email through, and it was telling me that my package is, well, it's saying it will be delivered today, and it'll basically be here by between 7 and 9. Okay, that's cool.
Comedy of the show.
When I was little, I ate a whole box of minty dog bones when I was little. I think I had cat food when I was a kid. I think my sister made me gave me cat food and told me it was actually good and just lied to me. I think I did that once.
And I think that there could have been a lot of cases like that. There's also nothing that would have stopped them from sending things he didn't win, like dog food. He may have never entered a dog food sweepstakes, and they could have sent it to him in order to further humiliate and torture him for the audience.
You see, there is that as well. There is that point of the producers could fuck him around so fucking much, but yeah, it's super.
There's just so much shit in here that is beyond cruel and unusual. It blows my mind that this is something that actually happened to a real human being.
More rice! Let's go! See how... Okay, here's the thing as well. Do you see how fucking happy he is? He is in tears over rice. Cat and dog is safe for human consumption. Yeah, it doesn't mean it tastes nice. But look how happy he is. He got a big ass bag of rice. Let's go.
Luckily, he was able to win rice 3 months later. He won 10 kilograms of rice about 3-ish months after mainly surviving off dog food, as well as a couple of other foods that he'd win here and there. But dog food for a while was his primary source of nutrition. And then he finally gets rice again.
Do you want to know what probably happened? The people on the sweepstakes probably realized at some points that, hey, his food supply is running low, we need to interact here, he's not winning any food. So they probably went through, found some stuff and went, hey, food! 2 months ago I ate a whole box of cannabis dog treats, honestly would eat again. That's because it's filled with weed! You're clearly gonna fucking eat that. That ain't an option back in 1998. That wouldn't have been a fucking option. You could be getting any levels of high back in the fucking 90s was a fucking jail sentence.
Now, it's been about 6 months-ish, and he is finally halfway to the goal. In 6 months, he reaches the halfway point. According to Atrocity Guide, he is
How do you eat a whole entire box of those? I guess you're high and you get the munchies, so it makes you have more, which gives you the munchies. Which then makes you high, which then gives you the munchies, and then, hey, look, the box is gone.
Did 38,000 entries by this point. 38,000 sweepstakes entries in 6 months, and he is only halfway.
Jesus Christ. See, this is why what I would have done is I would have just gone into a magazine and just done every possible entry, and just one magazine, next magazine, next magazine, next magazine. I would have literally done that for months. My tracking is after the first 3 you were stoned and then the munchies hit. Yeah, that's basically how it would work.
To the goal.
大丈夫だ
の時ナスビは思った。
終わりですか。100万いったんですか。
Look at him!
いってない。
He looks, I wanna... Am I the only one who wants to give this man a fucking cuddle and just be like, it's okay, you're gonna be fine? I genuinely want to hug him. I just want to hug him and tell him everything's gonna be fine. He looks so fucking tortured.
意味がわからないんですけど、全然。うわー。車？やった。動いてる動いてる。
He's just happy to be in a fucking car.
これはまあ全部揃ってるというか、引っ越しっていうことなんですか？
So they
When you
are.
thought it could-
So they are legitimately. They are legitimately just houses. It's not a set. Technically speaking, the smarter thing for them to do would be to do a simulated set. That's what I would have done in that situation.
Get more fucked up. So what happened here is this show was so popular, people eventually found out
It outviewed Game of fucking Thrones. Of
where
course it's
Nasubi was
popular.
being held. So there was paparazzi, reporters, and everything that all were crowding around the space, so the producers moved him to an identical space where no one would know where he was. It was super far away. It was like 5 hours away, I believe, and this whole time
5 fucking hours. 5 hours in Japan basically says we went from one side of the country to the other.
Nasubi thought, oh, I must have won. But it turns out he didn't. They were just moving him to continue the game in a different location. It looks like actual kidnapping, and to a certain extent it is.
It does!
The entire time, Nasubi is kind of delirious. He hasn't talked to people in a long time. He even says his mind is clouded with anxiety, and he's saying things that don't make any sense. He's unable to really talk to people, or talk around people in general. He's like...
I'm not... Yeah, when he was talking, when he turned up in the room, it genuinely looked like he was talking with a fucking lisp. Yeah, it looked like he was talking with a bit of a lisp. That says to me that he's actually very much, That says to me he's, not used to... He's no longer used to talking to people.
Completely lost that ability due to right around 6 months in total isolation.
しかしこの企画が放送されていることを知らないナスビにプロデューサーは
演技担ぎ。
じゃあ私の
They lied to him and told him it was for renewed luck.
ためってことですね、これは。
身に余る光栄です。
The team told Nasubi that he was moved to a new location for renewed luck, so better fortune at a new spot, because they didn't want to tell him the real reason that they were relocating him. So they came up with
He
that.
literally
And
seemed
I'm
to have
pretty
figured that
sure
out straight
Nasubi
away.
doesn't believe them because he kind of laughs about it, saying, "Oh, so it's for my own benefit."
Yep.
I think he's very well aware now that this is a pretty fucking evil team of producers here, and whatever reason they had for moving him probably wasn't for his own benefit.
格屋のこれは椅子と机が当たったってことなのかな、これは。社長気分っつうのかね。
当選第1号
Look how happy I'd never thought I'd see someone more happier for having a new desk than me. What the fuck? But does his go up and down like mine? Does his go up and down like mine? I don't think his goes up and down like mine does. His nails are way longer than mine. I give him credit for censoring. I give him credit for censoring, but I also give him credit that I can picture all of this. Look at those nails! Dude could literally scratch a cat.
His first win in the new location actually is a fucking fat one. He gets a new desk, a new chair. They're both relatively expensive too, so it's a great victory for him. And he shows his nails. The nail growth is outrageous. He hasn't been able to trim them in about 6 months
I mean,
now.
you could bite the
He
nails.
is genuinely a prisoner here, and it shows.
With this room switch, producers decided to offer a live web stream alternative, causing them to digitally follow Nasubi around with a joystick in order to censor his genitalia. As you can see, the quality of the live stream is primitive, But keep in mind, this is in the late 90s.
I couldn't actually find a high quality clip showing how they censored
Nasubi, the first live streamer. Let's go. He set the baseline for my fucking career. Right? How fucking pog is that? Hot damn, I'm surprised he didn't bite those nails down. I would have nibbled the crap out of the nails, but I'm guessing he doesn't like the rough feel of them.
did the live broadcast, so this comes from Atrocity Guide as well. What they did is the producers had a whole team that was dedicated to following Nasubi around with a joystick like they were playing a fucking arcade game with a sensor to keep his dick and balls off the screen. And they live streamed him.
The best way to describe it is it was an overlay, and they just had it so they could control the position of the sensor point.
They wanted to offer a real-time alternative instead of just doing like the weekly Nasubi update with clips. They wanted 24/7 Nasubi coverage for anyone that wanted to go watch. So this was pretty innovative for its time. I think it's definitely...
If you're not on the Discord, join the Discord. If you're on YouTube and you're watching this, make sure you join as well. Link will be in the description down below. Also, make sure you hit like and subscribe. I'm not selling out.
Definitely one of the first, like, actual...
Actually, I'm honestly trying to go for, like, those 4K watch hours really, really badly now.
...around-the-clock live streams that ever actually aired. It's pretty impressive.
ウィダーインゼリーが当たってかれこれ2週間当選がない。
ここまでね、当たんないってもなかなか久しぶりの出来事でね。
車で移動。
Road trip!
ちょっといいよ。いいですか。
ナスビのあまりの運のなさに見かねたスタッフは当選運の上昇を願い2度目の引っ越しを決めたのだった。
So Nasubi initially had a good string of luck at the new location. I believe, according to Atrocity Guide, he had done 17,000 entries and won decent stuff, but then hit a really bad cold streak, even ran out of food at one point, so the producers did move him again to another location.
That's the whole point. I think what they should have done is gone, hey, we're going to acknowledge the fact that he might go through dead periods of like winning fuck all. It's going to happen, but what would we do with it? Well, we'll make it so they can do the thing. So, yeah.
To help him out in winning more prizes, I suppose. And it worked, because he did win more prizes.
That is a face of pure fucking joy. Look at that man. Look how happy he is. Look how happy he is. Oh my god, Nasubi, you look so fucking joyful. This is the empath in me just getting happy because he's happy.
ビデオデッキを頭にぶつけ当選の舞。
Toilet paper! Look at it!
10ヶ月ぶりにね。
It's been 10 months since he wiped his ass. What the fuck?
トイレットペーパーに触ったよ、本当に。
He finally wins food again and really celebrates getting some potato chips. And he also gets a VHS player, which...
I mean, did you see his face when he had the fucking potato chips? That was like, wow. I've never seen someone so... The only other person I have seen so fucking happy to have a fucking potato chip is just a fat dude who does not have a potato chip in like a week.
Which will be nice to go with the TV, assuming he ever wins a VHS tape to play it. But I think the most important thing he wins here is toilet paper. This is the first time he's had toilet paper in his entire stay.
He can wipe his pooper now. Let's
10
go!
months so far. And to celebrate, he tries to take a shit just out of frame, but was unable to.
Oh.
So an unsuccessful mission there, but at least he finally has toilet paper.
He got a PlayStation! Let's go!
それは8ヶ月前のこと。
I manually have to turn the shit down. I'm sorry if it hurts your ears.
6ヶ月前。
おー、来たよ。とりあえずまず電車で GO!
Now this is by far the meatiest win he's gotten.
There you go! That was a face of fucking joy! Look at the face! He gets his video games! Stimulation! Look at that. Look at that face. Look how happy he is. I love this because I love-hate this. It's just so annoying. It is so love-hate.
Go!
Now, this is by far the meatiest win he's gotten so far. A PlayStation.
But this is the thing. This is such a love-hate thing for me because I get the torture he's having going through this, but I'm also watching him going, dude, I love how happy the smallest things make you. I genuinely love that. And it's so... Oh my god. I am so happy when he's happy, but I get he's being tortured. I get... What would you do in that situation? Waro! Thank you for the raid. How was your stream? We're watching a Japanese dude be fucking tortured for the sake of entertainment, and it's making me feel very mixed. How are you today? Are you doing good? Are you doing good? Welcome Raiders. Welcome Raiders into the stream. I'm hoping you had a wonderful time. Can we get Waro a massive shout out? Lied. Can we get Waro a shout out? There we go. Thank you. Yeah, I'm doing good. How have you been anyway? I hope you've been doing well. We're watching a video.
Pretty expensive, especially during this time period, and it also enables him to have real entertainment for the first time in 10 months. This is like a moment that's straight out of like Civilization, where you climb up the tech tree slowly but surely. 8 months prior to this, he won a PlayStation 1 game, Dinsha De Go, which also had the special controller to go with it.
Are you playing Yakuza? You playing some Yakuza? No wonder. Hey, hello!
Couldn't play it, obviously, at the time. 6 months ago, he won a TV. So he had a PlayStation game,
Let's
a controller,
go!
a TV, but no console. He finally got that last missing piece of the puzzle, the console, and is able to play PlayStation games now. Well, the single PlayStation game he's won.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting about this is his first piece of actual entertainment he's had since being fucking imprisoned here. But also, and this was pointed out by Caleb, this would make him the world's first video game live streamer.
Let's go!
Because this is all being live streamed. All of this is a live broadcast. And he spent 4 straight days playing his PlayStation. So for 4 straight days, he was being streamed playing a game. This man was the patient zero of streaming. He walked so Twitch
Let's go!
could run.
Pogs in chat! First ever streamer, let's go! And technically speaking as well, I can actually claim this. He would be the first marathon streamer, not Ludwig. He would be the first marathon streamer as well. But he actually is the first official gaming streamer. Let's go! Pogs in chat. Well, that's a W.
電車で GO 3日目に突入
金プレステでございます
Oh yeah, he banned himself. He banned himself from playing.
He played so much Dinsha De Go that he had to ban himself from playing it further so he could focus on entering into more sweepstakes and getting closer to freedom. So he stopped playing the game, went back to writing entries, and he was able to do it. He pulled off the last remaining prizes he needed to reach that 1,000,000 yen mark.
Hey, Redface!
を間違えてダイヤにしてくれてれば。
今回当たったタイヤが84,000円つまり現在の総額は96,910
He's like 969. He's got 969,000 yen. He's so close to the end. He's like 31k off.
The tires put him extremely close to completing the challenge. He was right at the finish line here, so close he could throw the Dinsha De Go disc right over the finish line. Only a couple more wins would secure this, and he was able to pull it off. The final item he won that put him over the 1,000,000 yen threshold was a bag of rice. But Nasubi didn't know he won. It had been 335 straight days of constant, non-stop, relentless filling out of sweepstakes in order to win these prizes. 335 days of torture, and Nasubi had
My fucking wrist would be dead. Like, no two ways to think about that. My wrist would be fucking dead from doing all of that.
finally reached the finish line, but didn't know it.
ゴールを祝いクラッカーで祝福。
100万になったってことですか？
Yeah! Let's go! Let's go! He did it! Let's go! 11 months and 1 day ago I got
Per usual,
naked.
the producers come in like a group of burglars during the night and start popping.
I'm sorry, he says walk in like a group of burglars. They walk in like a bunch of fucking goblins here to offer him a fucking inch-a-sal fucking vation just to say, hey, fuck you.
Party poppers in his face, which scares the shit out of him and really confuses him. They eventually explain that he did win, he made 1 million yen, and they give him his clothes back. It's been 11 months and 1 day, and this is the first time Nasubi's putting clothes on.
Let's
in that
go!
entire time frame. So when he puts them on, he says that it's uncomfortable and itchy, but he's very, very, very happy to be done with the contest and glad that he's completed it.
Let's go!
But
Nasubi is
that's
free!
not where this story ends.
食べる骨付きカルビにナスビ悶絶。
The producers took Nasubi to Korea, telling him it was a celebration for completing the game and for all of his
Look
hard
how
work.
happy
So they
he
went to
is!
an amusement park. He ate a lot of great food. He had a wonderful, incredible time, and then things got real fucked up.
そこは
脱いで。
No!
人は韓国の検証だけで生きていけるか。
What the fuck?
ナスビ大ショック。
Nasubi was making them far too much money. The producers weren't done suckling from this cash cow's teat, so they trapped Nasubi in Korea. The goal this time wasn't 1 million yen. This time he was going to have to enter sweepstakes in Korea, which he didn't speak Korean, so he had to use a Korean to Japanese dictionary to translate. His goal was to enter the sweepstakes, win prizes enough to afford a plane ticket from Korea to Japan. That was the objective. He was stripped naked yet again and forced to endure the same torture that he had already endured for 335 days prior. I would like to make a mention here. There is a moment where the producer says, if you don't want to do this, just say so. To which Nasubi responds, I'll do it. So I don't think they had ever forced him against his will to complete these challenges, but he was pretty much promised fame after doing these things.
They did him dirty. They didn't do him dirty. They did him disgusting. They took his pride. They gave him a W and then handed him a big fucking L. That is disgusting.
So, in the pursuit of Nasubi's big dreams, he allowed himself to be tortured mercilessly for 15 months.
こんなにいっぱいということは商品総額が 47,800 円ということはゴール 46,900 円突破検証生活 in Korea.
This time around, however, Nasubi went fucking plus ultra, straight up turbo mode. He had become a master at this shit. So he was actually able to complete this challenge in just about 2 months, which made the producers very upset because he didn't suffer long enough. So they increased the challenge duration. They moved the goalpost. Instead of just getting a one-way ticket from
Hey, at least he got a fuckload of bananas.
Korea to Japan in
Actually, saying that, he needs to fucking eat them real quick because they're bananas. Yeah.
economy class, they required him to get an additional 9,000 yen in prize winnings to upgrade that ticket to business class.
エコノミークラスという一番安い料金。こんなに頑張ったのにエコノミークラスとはあんまりだ。そこでビジネスクラスにランクアップ。点まであと9,500円。頑張れナスビ。
Yeah, more scummy, evil shit from the producers here. They never even told him he initially completed the goal here. They just let him keep writing postcards until he'd gather another 9,000 yen. They didn't want him to win quickly. They didn't really want him to win at all because the longer he struggles and suffers, the more money they were making. So they let him just keep going and tried to spin it as a positive thing, like, look at how hard Nasubi's working. We're not going to let him fly in economy class, so the new goal is business class, because it's what Nasubi would want. Just genuinely fucked shit.
So he won twice, and they said, nah, you gotta win a third time now. And this is what I call you never trust a pan.
だってこんなお茶2袋じゃよ。
宣言ということは商品総額は61,800円ということ。
I was gonna say let's go. Apparently he's been upgraded again.
ファーストクラスにランクアップということはゴールの金額もランクアップ。
Nasubi easily gathered the remaining 9,500 yen after winning some expensive tea leaves, so he was absolutely slapping the producer's bottoms, like he was going hog wild right now. So again, they increased the goal without ever telling him. Now,
and here's there is shit people will do for fame, and then there is scummy things people will force people to do, thinking that they might achieve fame.
Now, business class wasn't good enough. Now is going to have to be a first class ticket, which was an additional 20,000 yen, I believe.
The genuine
which,
fuck.
Again, was pretty quick for Nasubi to gather.
Yeah.
He won a live octopus, a big picture frame, and
what the fuck? A live octopus? What the fuck?
Was able to gather enough money through prizes pretty quickly to get that final rank up to first class passenger. So then he finally gets the ticket from Korea to Japan in first class, and it's over.
そしてプロデューサーに連れられたナスビ登場。
It's over, let's go.
も
It's
ちろん
finally
アイマスク
over.
ナスビは驚くべき行動に出る。なんと脱ぎ始めた。
How the fuck would you get a live what the fuck would you do with a live octopus? So he gets put in that room. If you didn't see, he gets put in this room. Nothing said. What's in the room? And then he strips by instinct. And then this happens. Let's go! He fucking did it! Let's go! But okay, do you know what this says to me? This says to me, don't strip down until someone tells you to.
But the story wouldn't be complete without one more final act of cruelty towards Nasubi. They blindfold him, put noise-canceling headphones on him, disorient him, and drag him on stage into a mock room designed to look like the rooms that he'd been staying in for the last 15 months. So out of pure instinct, he gets completely nude again. It's the only life he knows, so without ever being told to take his clothes off, he does it anyway. And then the walls break away, revealing a live studio audience laughing at him and congratulating him for completing the show.
I'm hoping Nasubi got a fuck ton great percentage of the ad revenue and shit from the show, because considering how much torture he went through and how much money he made them, Jesus Christ.
Show. Nasubi is understandably confused because for 15 months he has been psychologically and physically tortured. So he doesn't understand what's happening, he doesn't get it, and is shocked, scared, and all around bewildered.
I would be.
It's just one more sick fucking joke from the producers.
It's so
Millions
stupid.
of people watching the finale, as well as thousands in person watching him, completely naked and completely having no idea what's going on or why. The life of prizes was finally complete, and the entire show, Susanoo Denpa Shonen, was cancelled pretty shortly after.
I would
it
think
didn't
so.
have like a super long run after this. But the toll that this experience took on Nasubi's life obviously didn't stop with the finale. He reported being uncomfortable in clothes for about 6 months afterwards, and his social skills had obviously deteriorated.
Yeah.
He said he was a lot more...
I mean, here's the thing. I get fucking confused walking down the road sometimes. Can you imagine no fucking contact apart from the occasional delivery dude? That would be stupid. Can you imagine the only interaction you ever have is with your Amazon delivery guy and your Deliveroo driver? That would be stupid.
Shy and not really able to be a comedian super well anymore because obviously he had been cut off for so long from people. He just kind of lost the ability to carry on conversations efficiently and overall just became a lot more reserved as a result of this. He did, however, sell his diary, the Nasubi Life of Prizes diary, like his journal, and that was a bestseller. That was a massive success.
I
But
hope
he
so.
himself never achieved that level of fame that he was kind of promised with a show like this. He did have certain roles in other productions, and some of them pretty sizable roles in other productions, but never a massive success in Japan, even though this is like the most successful live stream in Japan's history. So just an overall extremely sad and cruel story. The main producer behind this show has gone on record and said he doesn't regret...
Like I said earlier, I understand that it is fucking torture and the producer should feel really bad for it. But I also completely understand the entertainment value behind the whole show. Like, the empath in me basically lights up when I see him happy and joyful and basically completely joyful of watching him just be happy. But like, Jesus Christ. Like, Jesus Christ, I understand the torture behind it as well. It's on its own level of like, what the fuck, that's kind of disgusting. But also, yeah, I get it. I get the entertainment value.
Anything. He said his goal is to make miracles on film, and with Nasubi, he accomplished that goal.
Yeah.
He did apologize to Nasubi, and Nasubi confirms that the producer did apologize to him, but the apology only does fuck all. Like, that doesn't make up for 15 months of lost human contact and health. Like, that's a nothing burger. But I guess at least he apologized, even though he made millions of dollars off the back of Nasubi's suffering.
As that's the point. I would have sent him around the session. Considering how much money he's making us, we're going to give him at least like a quarter of it. At least a quarter of it.
But anyway, I wanted to share this story because I find it to be one of the most interesting ones.
Like, here's the thing: if you could be guaranteed to make, say, 5 million from 15 months of torture for the sake of entertainment, would you say yes? I would sort of say yes. I would say yes, but within reason. I tell them I want 25% of all the revenue made and my face. And I still own the rights to my face. I would genuinely be like that. 15 months of fame for a huge payoff would be worth it. But obviously, at the end of it, I'd need to reclimatize. And again, in a modern setting, it's still perfectly fine and doable.
When it comes to like live broadcast television as well as live streaming, this is one of the first live streams, and it was fucking bizarre. Extremely fucked up story. And yeah, I just wanted to share that with all of you. Thank you to Caleb and Chelsea for compiling a bunch of clips here, so that way we could tell the story as best as possible. And yeah, that's about it. See ya.
Yes, so I'm gonna link this. I'll link this in the chat. Yeah, there you go. There's the link to the video. But yeah, what would you guys do within that if you were given that situation? Would you guys have dove in on that and just gone, "Hey, this is what we're doing"? Would you be objective and very much methodical, or would you guys be sort of just wing it? I feel like more of you would wing it than you realize. Like, loads of people would just go in and be like, I'm just gonna watch this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, go cool. Like, what would you guys do? It's kind of a really interesting question. But I will say, I completely understand the entertainment value in the whole thing, and I also can see how it can be basically openly regarded as nothing but torturous. Like, genuinely. I see how much of a torture it could be.